What's up, everyone? Welcome back to HDC. If you're new, welcome. We do these things every once in a while here, but we got a lot to talk about. It's really interesting, kind of what world we're living in right now. Obviously, this month is all about. Um, I think they call it pride, but it's just about, I think it's just about being gay, and trans and all that other stuff. And for some reason, that's more important than keeping our kids safe and, you know, realizing what our actual rights are in America. Not even in America, in just God-given rights. So, um, obviously, this new gun bill passed. Um, it's super unfortunate. I think it was 14 Republicans in general voted yes on this bill, and I think it's one of the problems. If y'all saw my last video, if you haven't yet, go watch it. I have a feeling a lot of you will like it, but I talked a lot about what the reality of America is right now and how we can truly stop mass shootings and how we can truly stop shootings in major cities like Chicago, Los Angeles, places like that. And to me, it's really simple. I'm not going to kind of spoil the video for you if you haven't seen it yet. You can go watch it after this one, but essentially it's just creating a punishment that's worse than the crime. It's scaring people. It's scaring these people who, are suicidal or lonely or saying, oh man, well, my only resort is to go like shoot up schools. Like, no, dude, you're a wuss. People don't deal with their problems like that. They just don't. Like, it's a 100% joke. But in order to get people to understand that, the punishment has to be worse than just, oh, we'll throw you in a cell and we'll give you 3 meals a day and water and everything else that you need, and then you're good. No, that's not enough of a punishment for that heinous of a crime. So, um, one of the things that I'm going to go through this entire bill here. It's To me, I've kind of read through all of it. It's a complete joke. But do not fool yourselves. This bill is not about Uvalde. This bill is not about Buffalo. This bill is not about any mass shooting that goes on in America. This bill is simply about control. It's simply about disarming you. You listen to Canada, Trudeau straight up said, guns cannot be used for self-defense. We're not that far away from that. This bill is not that far away from that. And I have a feeling this is going to be something in the future that they're going to say, you know what, we're not sure if people can legitimately use guns for self-defense, so we're not sure if we're okay with that. And it goes back to the statement of your government is the only one allowed to have guns. They're the only ones who can be trusted with guns, when in reality, it's a joke. We elect you to be in the government. You're not just put there. You're not a dictator. So anyways, I want to start with a funny one. And this actually comes from, I had no idea this happened. My girlfriend's mom, we were over at their house the other night, and he's like, did you see what Biden said the other night about when he was about to sign this bill? And I was like, no. She showed me this. Watch this.
For us to do more. I'm not going to sign this bill into law.
Okay, how many of you missed it? How many of you missed it? All right, listen to exactly what he says. Look at the subtitles if you have to.
For us to do more. I'm not going to sign this bill into law.
Okay. All right, cool. So, I mean, do we take the verbal I'm not going to sign this in the law as whatever you signed is just verbally not correct at this point? Is that what we should do? Because I'm all about your word is your bond. Whatever word you give another man, that's it. So you didn't sign the bill into law. I'm not going to sign this bill. So what did you sign? You fell a little crossword puzzle? Sudoku? I doubt your brain could even handle that at this point. Jeez. Anyways, so kind of going on to just kind of the further of this hypocrisy of this entire thing. If y'all remember, probably a year ago, especially during Sleepy Joe's whole campaign, their whole thing was criminal reform, right? So how do we keep people out of prisons, or how do we become easier on criminals, right? Y'all already see where I'm going with this. And it's been like this for I don't know how long. Y'all remember when all the BLM protests were going on, all that. It's like these people were just let out. Like you see a big article, 50 protesters who burned down a building and costed millions of dollars in damage were just let out by this woke DA. Listen to this.
We need to speak truth about a criminal justice system and reform that system and decriminalize marijuana and expunge the records of people who have been convicted of marijuana offenses and shut down private prisons and end cash bail, because it is not only a criminal justice issue, it is an economic justice issue.
So look, the marijuana thing, I don't really care about. I mean, to me, it's whatever. It's very similar to alcohol. I don't really care either way. But the part that just kind of amazes me is the no cash bail deal. Like, okay, so what are you going to do to get someone to show up to court after they just killed a few people? Are you going to cut off their pinky finger and keep it until they come to court, and then you're just going to sew it back on? How else are you going to get someone to show up to court? If there is no incentive on their end, they're not going to come. No cash bail. So all these people in Chicago who are shooting each other every night, do you think they're walking into the jail and saying, yeah, I made 50 grand last night off of selling drugs? No, they're going to say, I have no money. Look in my bank account. Yeah, because they take cash. I have no money. Oh, okay, you have no money? Well, it's no cash bail, so we'll just let you out. The next night, they'll go and shoot a whole bunch of people. It's a total joke. But they just passed red flag laws. We'll get there in a second. Hang on. Listen to this.
The history of the suspect. In this particular case, the history of the suspect, Mr. Flores, did not contain any evidence of violence. He was basically someone that had been drug addicted for many years. He had been arrested, mostly for drug-related offenses, and almost a decade ago, he was arrested and convicted for burglarizing his grandparents' home and stealing a TV. He then remained pretty much away from the criminal justice system until the arrest in this particular case, where he was arrested for possession of drugs for personal use and the possession of a gun.
So, what y'all just watched is the district attorney of Los Angeles. And he's talking about a guy who was arrested. He should have gone to jail for, I believe it was 3 years on possession charges and the gun laws that they already have in California. And at the time, it was illegal something with a firearm. I forget what it was. So at the time, he should have been in jail for 3 years. But they let him out. This dude is a career criminal. Let him out. Should have been in prison for 3 years. Only did 2 months. The rest was probation. A few months later, he goes and shoots a few cops. And that was his speech after he shot the cops at some motel in El Monte, California. So you can see the hypocrisy of this entire thing. It's, well, let's be super easy on criminals. Let's have this bail reform. Let's have this not keep people in jails as much for doing these heinous crimes. But we can put red flag laws on people. You know, at the end of the day, here's what I'll say. I respect people who have done something wrong in their life, had to go to prison, jail, whatever, and got their crap together. But what I will say is people like this individual who shot these cops, who is a career criminal, never got his shit together. It's like you're going to be super easy on someone like that, but then for the entire nation, you're going to implement these new gun laws that just simply don't make sense. If you want to stop crime, be harder on it. Simple. So, let's take a look at this gun bill. The bill funds the implementation of crisis intervention in orders in every state, including the so-called red flag laws. These laws allow courts to temporarily take guns away from people who are threatening to kill themselves or others. Okay. So, we've talked about this before. There's a few problems with this. One, anyone can call, especially a family member, especially a coworker, especially someone that knows you, that's verified that they know you, and say, hey, you know, this person is a danger to society and they own a bunch of guns. You guys should go check them out. And then it's up to the police to decide whether or not they're going to take your guns. Now, on top of it, and this is what we talked about before, you have to defend yourself. There is no implementation in this bill that the government is going to provide an attorney for you. So this whole temporary hold on your guns is BS. If you can't afford an attorney for yourself, you're never getting him back. You're never getting him back. After decades of trying, we're finally closing the boyfriend loophole. That means that you had an assault on your girlfriend or your ex-girlfriend, you lose your ability to buy or own a gun. Okay? So, here's the ultimate problem with that. How do you know if it's true? What if your ex-girlfriend is just pissed at you and calls in and says, hey, I dated this guy for 2 years. These 5 people over here can tell you that we actually dated and he assaulted me. You're screwed. Now, someone who has a consistent record of just beating women, woman after woman after woman, and convicted of all of it, okay. But just, oh hey, I I didn't like this guy that I dated, and so can you come and take away his guns? Total joke. Complete joke. Let's see what else we got on here. For under 21-year-old buyers, we build an enhanced, longer background check, including a call to the local police department to see if the kid is in crisis. Okay, so I mean, I think this is kind of like what when I played the Dog the Bounty Hunter video on here, where he was like, every person needs a mental health analysis, almost a card for every 3 years. And they need to be evaluated by a doctor. It's like, do we have the resources for that? Every time an 18 to 21-year-old is going to go buy a gun, you're going to call a sheriff's office. They're going to be on the phone all day long. Oh, what do you need a background check on? Oh, well, let me call the family. It's going to turn that bill right there, it's going to turn into a whole different red flag law. Because who do you think they're going to background check on it? How do you think they're going to get the background check? Just think about it. You're 19 years old. Your parents think that you're just this crap kid because you drank a little bit in high school, did whatever, and weren't the perfect kid. So you go to buy a gun, you're legally allowed to. Who do you think the police are going to call? Your parents. They're going to call your parents. Hey, mom and dad, does your son have any issues? Are you okay with him buying a gun? You might as well raise the legal age to own a gun to 21 at this point. I mean, that's essentially what they did. Because they're going to call the parents. Oh no, I don't want my son owning a gun. They're going to come up with any excuse not to. It's a complete joke. All right, let's see what else we got. The bill includes the first ever, this dude misspelled it, comprehensive federal criminal statute banning gun trafficking and straw purchasing. This allows law enforcement to put a stop to the flow of illegal guns into our cities. You know how you stop that? I mean, does it really need to be in a gun law bill? Stop letting illegal immigrants into our country. That would be a start. You don't need a bill for that. Just respect Americans. Respect Americans. That's simple. Respect that we are in this country, that we live here, that we love it. Make other countries work their way in. Not right now. We don't need any more people right now. You already let enough in. All right, what else do we have here? Yeah, I mean the rest of it's just kind of odd too. One of the funny things that I saw is that they gave an extra $100 million to the FBI in this bill. What does the FBI have to do with this? Nothing. Literally nothing. But somehow you guys just wiggled $100 million into that. Okay. Awesome. Anyways, y'all can see that this is a complete joke. But I'm going to answer some questions here. Yes, agreed. Even a caveman could understand it. It's not. It's pretty simple. It's a God-given right. You don't believe in God, it's just a natural right. It's a natural instinct, fight or flight. You either run from a problem or you face it. You fight. That's it. No, I haven't. I think the reason why I would never do something like that is because if I got on like the senator floor, I'd just cuss all of them out. They'd probably kick me out. I mean, all the 14 Republicans, like I'd just be like, "Are you guys fucking dumb? Red flag laws? Really?" It's like I wouldn't last because they like to make everything complicated. And right now, the US is complicated. We're focusing on bullshit issues. We're not focusing on just being simple, focusing on the simplicity of what our country was built on. Pride in country, defending our country, our God-given rights, raising children correctly. Everything else is, who cares? Like, do you think that I really care about like your big ass gay pride event? Do we have a straight pride event? Like, sure, do whatever you want. That's fine. But do we have a straight pride event? Do we have an entire month where we celebrate liking the opposite sex? No. So why is it so different for you? It's the point. We're complicating everything. Make it simple. Simple is easy. Simple is comfortable. People find comfort in simplicity. When everything is all over the place, I mean, if you look at this bill that they just passed, it is 80 pages long. 80 pages. Like, what happened? Did one of the senator's kids get into their computer and just start just putting doodles in there? 80 pages? Yeah, it is. I mean, it's something that I've learned, I wouldn't say recently, but probably over the past 2 years. Um, it's this is all it's all pretty simple. I mean, you read any book on life, on happiness, on country, on any of that stuff. No one's saying um, to get super rich and to have every single toy and all this stuff. No, no, because all that stuff wears off. Just be happy with the simplicity of life. There is no time that I am happier than when I'm in the woods camping, not on social media, not being connected to all the BS going on in the world. Just being connected with nature and possibly getting a hog or a buck. Like that's my spot right there. I don't need a Lambo in there. I don't need $50 million in the bank to do that. No one does. But instead, we have, I literally clicked on a video today of another guy who talks similar stuff that I do, Brandon Herrera. I click on his video, and it's literally it's a pharmacy, I think. I really don't know what it was. I thought it was a pharmacy, but it has all of these trans and gay people just talking in this ad, right? So I was like, what is going on here? And they're all saying how life-changing this pharmacy was. So I was like, okay, let me see what kind of scam this is. So I pull it up, I click on it, and it's literally a pharmacy that provides drugs to trans people. I forget what the other one was, intersex and like non-binary people. They hand out estrogen, ED medication. What was the other one? I got so sick I clicked off of it. But that's what's important. That's what's important in the world right now. Like we got a whole bunch of kids dead in Uvalde, and we still don't have a response from the police out there. And somehow injecting estrogen into men and cutting their nuts off like they're a male dog is important. All this is a gun grab. They're doing this like a boiling frog. So yeah. I mean, that's what it's going to come down to. I think this is all pretty simple. They want to disarm America. That's all it is. They simply want to disarm America. Thanks, Albert. I mean, if we look at the past and we look at how Sleepy Joe's talked in the past, he was very, believe it or not, he was very strong on laws. He wanted criminals in jail. Now all of a sudden, it's, I don't know. I guess we just forgot about that. Not all of us are made of money. What I'm talking about, you don't need a ton of money. Obviously, you should strive to be able to provide for just a better life. In terms of where you live and all that. But like I said, my sweet spots in the woods, under the stars, not dealing with any of this crap. And this is half of the reason why I stopped talking about politics in general. It's pissing me off. I was legitimately pissed off all day. Shall not be infringed, I shall not comply. I think it's super funny how the government thinks that's like a bad thing to say. It's like, well, it's in our Constitution. So until someone removes it, good luck trying, by the way, until someone removes it, we can say it all day long. shall not be infringed. Do you think social media giants will be assisting this administration to enforce red flag laws? Possible way to crush the First Amendment. Yeah, absolutely. Here's what I'll say. I think at this point, we need to be pretty careful what we are putting in writing on social media, right? Because it can be misconstrued 15 million different ways to fit someone's narrative, right? So if you've got family members, if you've got people who don't like you on social media, if you have people who have your cell phone address, all that stuff, and you say something that they think is worrisome, you may have some cops show up on your door. That's literally what this bill allows. Now, what I will say is that this red flag law, it incentivizes states that already don't have it, right? So it doesn't mean that, for example, I'm in Texas, it doesn't mean that we're absolutely going to have it, but they're incentivizing states to do it. So it's going to be interesting to see what's going on. What would stop government employees from monitoring social media and using the red flag laws against people who have views that oppose current admin? That's a good question. I think it's, like I said, I think it just depends. I mean, red flag laws are just, the definition of them are unconstitutional. I mean, if someone says, hey, like, I'm going to do something crazy with a gun, like, it's really on them, right? Like, are you? Like, if someone is drunk, if someone is on drugs, if someone's just doing something dumb, says something dumb, whatever it is, like, how are you to judge if it's a fact or if it's not a fact? How can you judge that? Are you God? So that's Nate, I think that's a perfect question for it's a gun grab. I mean, they can do this to anyone. Anyone who has social media, anyone who's, texted anything on their phone, anything. They can do this to anyone. And it's super sad. Thanks, Albert. It's just super sad that this is a reality, because you and me, we would never do stuff like this. We would never go into a school and shoot kids. We would be outside ready to defend kids. We would go in and help police get the guy. We would never go shoot up a grocery store. We would help the police, or before the police got there, we would take the guy out. Because we're legally allowed to own firearms. Or it is our right to own firearms. That's one of the things I don't get. Use Americans. We put you in office. We put you in office. We can't be that nuts. I mean, I didn't vote for Sleepy Joe and any of these idiots and all these Republicans who are going in there and saying that, oh, these red flag laws are a good idea. The first time in 30 years we passed a gun law. Well, fuck you. You just got intimidated and you bent over and took it. That's all you did. You didn't do anything. You're not preventing crime. But watch. I want you to watch something. Here's my thing. All of the news channels, except for probably Fox, are going to stop talking about mass shootings after this. Probably for about 6 months to a year. They're not going to air anything about them. All they're going to air is way less mass shootings, way less this, way less that. Once again, it's going to try to get America into that mass formation psychosis, where it's like, oh yeah, maybe these are working. CNN said that there hasn't been that many mass shootings. You can look it up every day. Literally every day it will show mass shootings on a certain website if you Google it. But that's how all this works. It's all a game. It's all, let's see how much we can deceive America. It's not, here are the facts. Here, let's look at the strictest gun laws in America, Chicago, and here are the facts regarding it. All right, let me get some more questions in here. Oh, this is a good comment. The Bible tells us that the truth will become the lies and the lies become the truth. We are living in this right now. Yep. I can't think of a better way to say this. Thank you, Sharon. You know, the stuff that I'm talking about on here, you know, a senator who just voted for this gun bill, they're saying, oh, this dude doesn't know what he's talking about. He doesn't have the stats. He doesn't know. Okay, well, dude, you're not special. You don't have access to some like special stat that I can't see in Chicago. Just go on any website. Look up Chicago killings every single day. Every single day, there is a new one. Like I said in the video that I posted before this live, like I said, if you haven't watched it, please go watch it after this. The only way to stop these weirdos who go and shoot schools up is to create a punishment that will scare them from doing it. Public executions, torture. Not this, oh, we'll send you to prison, give you 3 meals a day, and give you a blanket, and give you water, and all this stuff. No, that's not going to scare anyone. It's not scaring anyone. And these gun laws are doing nothing to scare anyone. If they have the balls to do something like that, they have the balls to defy your gun laws. Retards. Figure it out. Okay. Oh man, just the fact that so many people are behind this too in America. It's like, okay, you voted for Sleepy Joe. Okay, good for you. How has that gone so far? Do you enjoy paying $7 a gallon for gas? Do you enjoy it? Okay, no, you don't? Okay, so what makes you think any other idea that this dude is doing is a good idea? My motto is if they don't have, no, you have it, they can't come and take it. I don't know. I think a lot of states don't, you're not required to register your gun within the state. I know there's a lot of states that you do. Once again, it's just more of this, oh, well, the government can have guns and we'll give them guns. They don't, have to do anything for them. Police officer, you don't pay for your gun when you walk in, unless it's like a podunk spot. I would honestly, guys, I would really like to somehow be invited to like a Senate chamber meeting where they're discussing these red flag laws. We're discussing gun laws in general. I would love to be there. Like, give me 2 minutes to talk to these people. Like, what? It's almost laughable that 14 Republican senators agreed to this. It's almost laughable. Like, I think it's called bipartisan gun safety something. Do you really think it's going to do anything? Like, okay, I got it. Okay. So what you think the red flag laws are going to do is, let's just take a scenario. Someone in a gang, right? Someone in a gang illegally obtains a gun and is about to do a drive-by. You think that someone else in the gang is going to call you guys up and say, hey, the little homie over here, he's about to go shoot up a house with this gun. Do you think that's what's going to happen? Do you think that's how your red flag laws are going to work? No, because they'll just kill him. That's not how it works. Sarge, stop. It's not how any of this works. But still, we go further into this delusion. The only people who are getting called on for red flag laws are mainly going to be scared ex-girlfriends who are either mad or whatever. They want to call up on a boyfriend or an ex-boyfriend and say, oh, he hit me, or he has guns or whatever. And it's just going to become this circus. Like, was he on social media saying that he was going to go shoot up a school? No. He just has a pissed off ex-girlfriend who says that somehow he's dangerous because he owns guns. Alaska's had had con carry since 2013. Very gun-friendly state. Only thing we are ashamed of is our senator. Yeah, well, we're ashamed of our senator too here, Cornyn. Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. I mean, we can sit here and all talk till we're blue in the face, but there's no logic in these meetings. They talk at such a surface level. And the problem is that they're all disconnected. They're all disconnected from reality. I think it should be a requirement for any bill you pass. Every single senator, every single House of Representatives has to go into the place where they're requiring the bill, into the worst place. So all the 14 Republican senators who voted on this, who think that gun laws work, who think this is going to work, I want you to all go to Chicago at night, the worst neighborhood. Bring your security, bring whatever, and just watch what happens. They'll do it right in front of you. They don't care. See if it actually works before you make it a law. ATF has a running record on all gun sales since late 80s, early 90s. There's a video on it with proof. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure they do. I mean, it wouldn't be surprising. I mean, I know certain things have to be reported to them. Like if you buy like I think it's like more than one gun in one sitting. Um, but I'm not really sure. But yeah, I mean, if um if they don't have if they don't have the knowledge of this, just like it's not worth passing a gun law with no knowledge. Am I wrong? I mean, come on. Like John Cornyn in Texas. Have you been to Chicago? Have you been to LA? Bad parts where gun laws are the strictest. New York. Have you been down there? Have you drove there at night? Have you seen what happens there? But no, you think that the guy who works 9 to 5 in an office, who loves America, who voted for Trump, who doesn't agree with infringements on his rights, is somehow a threat? Goofiest thing in the world. Oh, and on top of it, we're talking about bail reform and all this other stuff. Solid job, guys. Really, really just absolute shit show. Let's see. Do I think Roe versus Wade decision is going to impact the midterm for Republicans to take back the House or the Senate? Get a fucking communist out of office in 2024. Honestly, I don't know. I mean, I think it kind of goes back to um, us being able to um, prove the whole thing with 2,000 mules. I mean, still, it has not been talked about on any news site. I haven't really seen any big people on YouTube talk about it. Anybody in like the right side of America talk about it. And to me, it's fascinating. It's just um, it's it's totally fascinating. But just the fact that it hasn't even been talked about. It's like, okay, are we all cool with this? Are we all cool with 7,000 plus people just shoving ballots in 15 different ballot boxes across a city, Atlanta, Phoenix? We cool? We cool with that? Thanks, Mike. There was just a shooting in Minnesota less than an hour ago. I wonder if the wokety woke will use this as a weapon. Well, I'll sure talk about it because, yeah. Where were your red flag laws in that situation? Politicians know exactly what's up. It's all money. Yeah, absolutely. It's all money and power. It's all, oh, how long can I stay in office? It's, who's going to bow down to me or who do I have to bow down to? It's not about doing what's right anymore. Not about that. When you here's the way I explain America or any country that's as big as America. It's very similar to like a big business. When you have a very small business, let's say it's just a mom and pop shop, mom and dad run it. You're going to have a very good reputation because there's only two people in there that are running it. And they both have outstanding character and they both know each other really well. They know their work ethic. They know their character. They know that if someone calls in, they're not going to get cussed out for having a return or something like that, right? But the more you grow, let's say into 3,000 employees, it's kind of hard to weed out those two people in the interview who act a certain way, but are really not that way. Same thing with America. We are never going to be a place where this stuff doesn't happen. We're too big. We're too big. And the only way to stop this stuff is to scare people. That's it. I had somebody comment, hang on, politicians who pass gun laws know nothing about them. Amen to that. So I had somebody comment on my video that I posted before this one, and it said, the only problem with your plan as far as like public executions for people who commit like mass shootings in a school, the only problem is that our Constitution states that we can't have cruel and unusual punishments. Well, do you think it's a cruel and unusual punishment for an 18-year-old to go into a school and shoot kids? Is that a cruel and unusual punishment to those kids? I would say yes. I would say 100%. So where is the standard? Is it just, if someone's nuts, they can do this? I mean, they can't do it morally correct. They can do it being nuts. But then on our side, we're just like, oh no, like no cruel and unusual punishment. No, dude. No. If you're gonna go do something like that, you should have the same thing coming to you, but 10 times worse. That's the only way we will make any progress with this stuff. It's not by doing these red flag laws and, saying, oh, well, the boyfriend loophole and all this stuff. No. Come on. Get it together here. Sorry, Joshua. Some liberal judge in Houston approved a restraining order of some kind that made abortion legal again in Texas for 2 more weeks until another judge can file an injunction. You know what? The whole abortion thing, I don't even, at the end of the day, I'm pro-life. I think you being irresponsible, whatever it is, it's just stupid. But, all the protests and all this stuff and what they did in Arizona and all that, it's a joke. It's a joke. And it's allowed. That's the thing. It's allowed. Did you see Jovan Pulitzer's presentation last night? No, I didn't. I'll have to check it out. Yeah, I don't know why. I don't know why a judge would do that. I mean, I know Houston. I have a buddy who's in SWAT there, and then another buddy who's a homicide detective, and they've both told me that all of the DAs are just super liberal. It's any big city. Any big city is going to be like that. And it's like, oh man, we have to fight. We have to fight to be able to kill babies inside of us. This is what I'm talking about. Complicating America. How about we simplify it? If you don't want to get pregnant, don't be a dumbass. Right? Use a condom. Birth control. There's 50 million different things you can do to not get pregnant. And if for some reason you go through all of that and you still do, well, guess what? It's God's plan for you. Deal with it. It's enough on that. Oh, yeah, adoption too. All right, y'all, do a few more questions. Hope the quality on here is better tonight. Been working to try to figure this thing out. Me and technology, I told y'all, is just a joke. Like I said, I'd rather be in the woods. Thank you. Thank you, Joe. But the people of this country stand up and actually raise their fucking kids. Agreed. I think that's what this country is missing right now. Our parenting has changed. Simple. The stuff that goes on in parents' houses nowadays is just, it's a joke. I'm not talking about y'all. I'm talking about the left wing. Oh, come to dinner. No, I'm not coming to dinner. I'm going to play video games. No, put them down or I'll break your game. Get in the room. We're coming to dinner. Like, it's a dictatorship, but it's the kids dictating what they're going to do. No, And trust me, I tried to be like that when I was a kid, and my parents knocked it out of me. Oh man. Actually, yes. Possibly. Possibly. We're finishing building out the range that we're building, and there's going to start being a lot of content on my other channel, Practical Gunners. We're going to do a whole bunch of good stuff related to guns, attachments, what's the best, what's the worst. Just testing out some cool stuff that's never really been tested before. So I'm super excited. I don't know about the 50 BMG right now, but I'm sure we'll get one to just kind of add some good content into there. But yeah, that one's a fun one for sure. Anyways, y'all, appreciate y'all being on here tonight. It's always fun. Love doing these with you guys. Y'all stay safe out there. Stay warm. Stay cool wherever you are. And we'll see you next time.